Okay, I've started now. So what we've got to do in homeostasis, you have to understand why we need homeostasis. We have to keep our temperature and things like our pH the same. All right. We'll keep the water levels the same and things like blood glucose concentration. The big one for me is body temperature. If your temperature is too low, in a little bit of chemistry, we lose kinetic energy in terms of our molecules that are taking part in our reactions are moving too slow, and we just start cooling down, and especially humans, we die. We actually go into hypothermia. So too low temperature means our molecules aren't moving fast enough to have successful collisions. If we're too hot, we denature our enzymes. So those two words are something specific from year 10. And what I mean by denature is if we get too hot, we permanently change the shape of our molecules, of our enzymes, sorry. And they don't and they no longer work. All right. So first thing, homeostasis is keeping our internal conditions the same at the best level they can be, irrelevant to what's happening outside. If it gets too cold, I want to be at 37.2 degrees. If it gets too hot, I want to be at 37.2 degrees. Okay. The things you'll be looking at is blood glucose concentration, temperature, and water levels. Okay. So, how do we control this? And this is how it relates to a reflex arc. You have receptors to detect temperature, glucose levels, water levels, and then you have a center that deals with that, and that causes an effect. Okay. Now, the endocrine system, what is the role of the endocrine system? Those are your glands. They are chemical messengers. All right. Now, the main glands you will look at are the pituitary gland in the brain, the pancreas, thyroid, adrenal glands, and in terms of reproductive glands, ovaries and testes. Okay. The pituitary gland, it's a tiny little part, a tiny gland inside your brain, right? And it controls your body in regards to things like temperature, and it can detect whether you're too hot. Now, the pancreas, that produces insulin that lowers your blood glucose level, right? So it takes the glucose out of your blood and drags it into your liver. When things go wrong and that doesn't work, that's diabetes. And there are two types, type 1, type 2, right? Type 1, you do not produce enough insulin. That is genetic. It can happen at any time, all right? And you can have childhood type 1 diabetes. Children can be born with type 1 diabetes. Type 2 is that you still produce insulin, but your cells just don't respond to it. And that tends to happen when you have a diet of too much sugar, not enough exercise, obesity, those kind of things. All right. Now, negative feedback. What is it? All right. That is a process by which your body controls things that go wrong. If you get too hot, it goes, oh, too hot. And then it lowers it down. It pushes you down. It reduces your temperature. That's negative feedback. If something goes up, it makes it go down. All right. Rule of glucagon. When you're out, running and you've missed something to eat, or for any reason your blood glucose goes down too much, glucagon does the opposite of insulin. It breaks down glycogen, in your liver and releases glucose into your bloodstream. I've gone through that pretty quickly. There's only 3 pages, all right? And what I'm going to do is give you some questions on it.